Only Log Sports Info here, back with another vid for you guys. Yeah, y'all, hit that subscribe, like, bell icon so y'all can be notified of this reel because y'all know Odilo keeps it real. Yeah, you guys, so this is really, my opinion. I don't know it to be as fact, but what I'm gonna say is gonna be my opinion, And as far as, I see it, Al Haymon had a plan, right? Al Haymon had a plan for Keith Thurman and Earl Spence Jr. to meet up, right, in 2020, right? Sometime in 2020, these two guys were supposed to meet up, Keith Thurman and Earl Spence Jr. They were supposed to fight in 2020. You feel what I'm saying? Because I want you guys to think about it. Earl Spence Jr. had just did his first pay-per-view, right? He did his first pay-per-view with Mikey Garcia. I think it was March of 2019, right? And then that same year, Keith Thurman did his first pay-per-view, right? When he fought Manny Pacquiao, right? Let's go to BoxRec. Let's see. Let's go to BoxRec. Let's see Keith one time. Yeah, see, he fought Pacquiao in the summertime, July 20th, in the summertime, right? Now let's see when Earl Spence Jr. Let's go right here, Danny. Okay, let's see when Earl Spence Jr. took on Mikey, right? Earl Spence Jr. took on Mikey, in March. Yes, in March of 2019, right? In March of 2019. So, who is this? Oh, this Earl Spence. Okay, so he took on Sean Porter, right? He took on Sean Porter in 2019. That's when he became a unified champion, right? Right, he became a unified champion in 2019. Earl Spence Jr. became a unified champion, right? So, okay, now we back to Keith now. Okay, we back to Keith. Keith Thurman had his fight, right, with Manny Pacquiao, but he lost. You feel what I'm saying? Keith Thurman lost. They was trying to build it up to a big 3-belt fight, right, in 2020, but Keith Thurman lost, and then Earl Spence Jr. got injured. You feel what I'm saying? So that fucked off the whole fight. This is just my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? But it just seems like that just messed off the whole fight because I want you guys to hear Keith Thurman if it played, hopefully it play. Let me share this, right? Because I want you guys to listen to Keith Thurman, and I want you to hear him, right? Because he says something about 2020. Listen. Hopefully it loads up quicker. I don't know what the hell. I think I have to have a virus on my laptop.
There's nothing planned in the season. Y'all like to talk about the future.
Right? Y'all like to talk about the future. Damn, what the hell is up with this shit?
The thing is, real talk, I've never seen a contract.
See, he never seen a contract. I don't know what the hell is up with my... Oh, you guys. And now I didn't broke my phone. So I can't do...
I'm not trying to fight that guy, you know? So it's never happened to me in my career. I accept all the challenges, especially if it's a great challenge. I also believe that Errol Spence has a little bit more popularity to grow in the sport of boxing. Just maybe not amongst you, not amongst
47,000 fans and 400,000 pay-per-view buys.
But that's with Mikey Garcia.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It does matter. It is bigger. It is bigger.
Make it happen.
But let's make sure it's bigger. Let's make sure it's bigger. And he's gonna elevate himself if he unifies the title that I unified, and he gets the WBC. What else did I tell y'all at the start of the year? I'm not fighting Spence for one title. I'm not fighting Spence for two titles. I'm fighting Spence for how many? 3. Thank you.
So that means,
Thank you.
Okay. I'm with you.
Thank you.
I'm with you. So if
You ain't with me.
I'm with you in terms of understanding.
And there you have it, you guys. And there you have it. It's out of Keith Thurman's mouth. And shout out to Fight Hub TV. This is for educational purposes only. And there you have it, you guys. It's out of Keith Thurman's mouth. He said he wasn't fighting Errol Spence Jr. for 1 title, 2 titles. He was fighting for 3 titles. And this is before he fought Pacquiao. Let me see the date on the video. Like, where the date on the video at? Where the date at? Am I overlooking it? Let's see, show more. Yeah, but this is 2019. You feel what I'm saying? He was. Yeah, you guys, but man, I mean, like, the writing is on the wall. You feel what I'm saying? The writing is on the wall, man. Al Haymon had a plan. And the only thing that happened, what really happened with the plan, is that Errol Spence Jr. got injured and Keith Thurman lost. I want y'all to think about that. Right? Because Keith Thurman, he was part of the highest pay-per-view that year. Right? Like, Keith Thurman was part of the highest pay-per-view of 2019, him and Pacquiao. They sold 500,000 pay-per-views. You feel what I'm saying? So he was part of the highest pay-per-view. Spence was part of the second highest pay-per-view, I guess. You know, like, other than Canelo. Well, it probably was second. Like, Keith Thurman probably was second. Then, Spence probably was third. Right? Because Canelo, he did fight that year. And Anthony Joshua. You feel what I'm saying? So, probably third, fourth, whatever. But Keith Thurman, he just said it in a thing. I told y'all I wasn't fighting Errol Spence Jr. for 1 belt. I didn't tell y'all for 2 belts. I told y'all I'm fighting him for 3 belts. It was out of Keith Thurman's mouth. You feel what I'm saying? So the fight got put off. They just was talking. You feel what I'm saying? Because Errol Spence Jr., he really wanted to fight with Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman is getting told by Al Haymon, nah, bro, next year. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we're going to build him up a little bit more. Nah, next year, just ignore him. You feel what I'm saying? Just let him talk his mess. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's building up his fan base. Let him talk his mess to you because that's building up his fan base. In 2020, we'll have the fight with you 2 guys, right? But Spence got injured after Porter. Remember, and Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao. That's why the fight didn't happen between Keith Thurman and Earl Spence Jr. That's exactly why the fight didn't happen. Exactly, because they was trying to get Earl Spence 2 pay-per-views right that same year, because he fought Mikey, then he fought Sean Porter that same year, 2019. Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman was the summertime, 2019. They was building up the fight for Earl Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman to fight in 2020. But Spence got injured. Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao and fucked off the whole fight. Right? It fucked off the whole fight. And, you know, and Keith Thurman, he got in the bad graces because they was expecting him to beat Pacquiao. Right? They was really expecting him to beat Pacquiao, but he didn't beat Pacquiao. Al Haymon put him on the shelf. Right? Al Haymon put that man on the shelf. Then Keith, he come back, right? And then he fight Mario Barrios when he come back. Now he trying to get back to the thing. Back to championship form, but I'm really trying to understand. I'm trying to break it down to people that Earl Spence Jr. really didn't want the fight like that. They had a set date when the fight was going to be made. You feel what I'm saying? They had a set date. They had a set date when that fight was going to be made, and that was in 2020. But we also got to think about the pandemic happened. Earl Spence Jr. got injured. Thurman lost. All that shit just played a part in the fight not happening. You feel what I'm saying? It played a big part in the fight not happening. So when Keith say he never got a contract, he never seen a contract, he never seen a contract, right? Because Al Haymon is telling Spence one thing. I'm gonna get you to fight with Keith. Yeah, I'm gonna get you to fight with Keith. But he telling Keith Thurman another thing. Nah, Keith, just let it marinate, right? Nah, Keith, just let it marinate. Come on, man, but let this youngster build up his name off you. You feel what I'm saying? Let him get a little shine off you, right? By chasing you around. Right? Because you chasing Mayweather and Pacquiao. He chasing you around. So you feel what I'm saying? It makes but Al is smart. You feel what I'm saying? Man, Al Haymon is a very intelligent guy. Very intelligent guy. I'm pretty sure he plays chess. Right? I'm pretty sure Al Haymon plays a lot of chess. Man, because he's a very intelligent guy. He's very intelligent. But at the same time, if you can see the play, you can see the play. Who did Ugas fight after he beat Manny Pacquiao? He fought Spence. Right? And he had what? The WBA title. The same title that Manny Pacquiao won from who? Keith Thurman. You feel what I'm saying? Like, do people understand? Keith Thurman fought Pacquiao in 2019. He was supposed to win that fucking fight. He was supposed to win. Right? Because he was talking a lot of shit about how he about to beat up the old man and all that stuff. And then he go up in there and get clipped and get knocked down the first round. Right? So he already behind the 8 ball. From the first round, he already behind. Yeah, he did make a great comeback. He started hitting Pacquiao with some shit, at the end. But he should have, he should have amped it up quicker than that. But I'm just saying, it's a playbook. It was part of the play. It was literally part of the play. They was building up Spence and Thurman with the back and forth, right? The Earl Spence Jr., the Earl sexuals, they really thinking that Keith Thurman is ducking this man, but they don't even know that he's getting another word from Al Haymon. They don't even understand you feel what I'm saying? He getting told something different. Errol Spence Jr. is getting told something different. Right? So he got them going at each other. He got Errol Spence Jr. chasing this man around like he really about to get a fight. When the whole time Al Haymon, he like, no, bro, you got to build up your name, right? He had to build up his name. Yeah, because when he fought Kell Brook, yeah, he had a little buzz, you feel what I'm saying? But once he beat Mikey, you see how the Earl sexuals went crazy? Man, he sold 360,000 pay-per-view buys. Yes, but Keith Thurman that same year sold 500,000. That same year. Right, with him and Manny Pacquiao, they sold 500,000 pay-per-view buys. That same year. So they had to, you feel what I'm saying? So they had to up it again. So they had to get Earl Spence Jr. another pay-per-view event. So they was already going to unify him with Sean Porter. So you feel what I'm saying? Even though I heard that one only did 170,000 buys, from Bob Arum said that, I don't believe Bob on a lot of stuff, but I believe him on the pay-per-view numbers. Hey, I believe that they lying about the numbers. I mean, for real, because in that same article, he said Amir Khan versus Terrence Crawford did 125,000 pay-per-view buys. So if he didn't lie about Amir Khan and Crawford, why the hell would he lie about Sean Porter and Spence? You feel what I'm saying? He said it's actually fucking up the market because people thinking that these numbers are bigger than what they are, and they're not. So you messing up the market. You need to give out the real numbers. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, you guys, so Keith Thurman, he said it in the interview. He said he didn't get no contract. And me, I really believe Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, he keeps it, really 100. And I really believe Keith Thurman. Right? He said he never got a contract. He said that Al never talked to him about that type of stuff. So what are we talking about here? If Earl Spence Jr. really wanted to fight him, he should have been a contract on the table, right? They both with the PBC. Right? They both with the PBC. No, it was a plan. It was all part of Al Haymon's plan. They wanted them to build up that fight, and they was gonna fight in 2020. But Earl Spence Jr. got injured. Spence got injured. Thurman lost to Pacquiao, right? And the pandemic happened. Or they probably was gonna put on the Pacquiao fight in 2020. Right? But they couldn't let Earl Spence Jr. come back and get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, right? Coming off that injury. Right? So they put him in there with slow foot Danny Garcia, right? Somebody who he can get a tune up on, like really. Yeah, like Danny's a hard puncher. Danny is all that, but Danny ain't beat nobody at 147. So that was a glorified tune up to me with Earl Spence Jr. I mean, like him and Danny Garcia was a glorified tune up, just like him and Ugas was a glorified tune up. I mean, for real. They was literally glorified tune-ups. But what happened though, y'all, is Earl Spence Jr. got injured. Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao, and that fucked off that whole fight between them two. Right? Then after Spence got injured, he couldn't come back and fight Manny Pacquiao for no unification, right? Hell no, you don't want to get in the ring with Pacquiao coming off, a brutal car injury. No, they put him in the ring with a slow foot, counter puncher, right? Who waits for you to throw punches, right? And got Danny Garcia beat. Then everybody they go around, oh, Spence, he didn't do. It's like Spence is Spence is following Al Haymon plan, just like Keith Thurman was following Al Haymon plan. Y'all act like that these guys don't, like Al Haymon, he don't give out plans to these guys. Okay, now this is what you gonna do, this is what you gonna do, and this is what you gonna do. Right? You feel what I'm saying? But with the Earl Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman situation, he was telling Spence one thing, he was telling Thurman a whole different thing. Right? Because when you hear Keith Thurman talking, he talking about the fight marinating. Right? He talk about the fight marinating, and I told y'all what? I wasn't gonna fight Spence for what? For 1 belt? No, 2 belt. I told y'all I was gonna fight Spence for 3 belts. And what did Eugenio Ugas do? He just fought Spence for 3 belts. So this was part of Al Haymon plan, you guys. Don't be fooled, you know. Hey, now Al Haymon, he's a very intelligent guy, but once I see a pattern, you know, I just roll with it, man, because it's a pattern. Now it's literally a pattern with Al Haymon, right? He likes to marinate fights as long as possible, and he destroy a fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if sometimes the fighters lose, sometimes they get an injury, right? Sometimes they cherry pick the wrong person, right? Wilder. Come on. You feel what I'm saying? Spence got the injury. Thurman had injuries. Come on, like, all this shit fuck off the fight. So I don't know if Keith Thurman is still in the plan, but knowing Al Haymon at this point, he probably gonna throw him to the young, he probably gonna try to build up Boots in his name off of him. Right? He probably gonna throw Keith Thurman the Boots in his. Right? Because it seems like that Keith Thurman is in the doghouse at the PBC right now. Because he was supposed to win that Pacquiao fight. He was supposed to win that Pacquiao fight. I mean, for real, he was supposed to win. So, really, it really didn't even matter with the PBC. Really, to be honest, it really didn't even matter with the PBC who won that fight, because they both was on the PBC, right? And we all know that Manny Pacquiao was a bigger name. So I'm pretty sure that Al Haymon, he would have been happy either way. It was a win-win, right? It was a win-win. Now, so just imagine if Spence would have took on Mikey Garcia, right? Spence take on Mikey Garcia. Then he takes on Sean Porter. He gets, the WBC. He got the IBF and the WBC, right? Manny Pacquiao, he just beat Keith Thurman, right, for the WBA, right, for the WBA title. Then 2020, they have a unification fight, him, Spence, and Pacquiao. How big would that fight would have been? I mean, that fight would have been huge, right? It would have been huge in 2020. It would have been huge. But Spence got injured. And that threw it all off. You feel what I'm saying? And that threw it all off. But yeah, you guys, I just wanted to just give my opinion on this situation with Keith Thurman and Earl Spence Jr. and Al Haymon, because I think it was all an Al play. It's all Al Haymon. You feel what I'm saying? It's all Al Haymon. Don't be fooled. It's all Al Haymon. They tell y'all all the time, every time they want to, negotiate a fight and do something like that, they say, call Al. Every time they want to do something in boxing, they say, call Al. They say, call Al. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. For real. But yeah, you guys, like, I'm going to keep it right there. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Comment on the video. This is OD Logue Sports Info. And I'm gone.